And we're here at Amira EMC conference and I'm very excited. Sandy O from CSIRO. How are you going, Sandy?
I'm good, Jess, and you?
Good. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
So you are a busy bee today because you're emceeing, you've been on panels, you're just running around everywhere. So I'm very glad that we found the time. But I was very curious what some of your key takeaways from the conference were so far.
Yeah, so a lot of talk about how long it takes to go from discovery to mine.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about the dollars put into the ground and we're not really finding stuff. There's been a little bit of sort of the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of thinking about perhaps new technologies that we could be implementing, or should we be, different ways of exploring, taking geologists away from the rocks so that they don't handle the rocks as often, and perhaps use data to help drive the exploration process more and give them back a bit more time to really think about what the rocks are telling them. So, I mean, it sort of seems all over the place, but I think when you sort of summarise that, it's using the new tools that we have available to us more effectively rather than going with the same process that we've been going with for a long time, and thinking about new ways of expediting that exploration part of a program. There has been talk about the cliffs that we're coming up against in terms of the energy transition metals, and particularly around metals such as copper, how we'll need to double the copper production in say 10 years time or whatever. And are we really at a cliff or precipice, or will we make it in different ways? So, yeah.
There you go. Going back to some of the tools, using tools better, less time on the rocks, what have been some of the main tools that people are talking about today?
Yeah, they're not talking specifically about specific tools. I mean, a lot about sensor technologies, and they've been around for a long time, and so there's been these questions coming up over and over, why we're using them, or why aren't we using them, or can we use them better, that sort of thing. And my take on that is that there's a sensor for almost everything now, but we're not very good at not everybody is able to unravel that data very, very easily. There hasn't been a lot of talk around the decision support that can come with that sensor technology. And I think that's the sort of like a next step in the discussion that we need to go to. So, you shouldn't have to be an expert in mineralogy or unravelling hyperspectral data, for example. You shouldn't have to be able to notice the difference between short and long wavelength markers or anything like that. There's decision support that can actually help do that for you, and we haven't discussed that yet. Yeah.
What's in your head around at the moment? Not yet unravelling it with others, but what sort of ideas have you got around the decision support?
So in terms of data fusion, so using data from different types of sensors, so data that from, say, geochem or mineralogy with petrophysics, and putting it all together for decision support, and really, but really being able to tailor that for particular questions that you're asking. So there might be questions around ICG related systems, for example, or questions around rare earth systems, and we haven't talked about that either, in terms of that these are there's connectivity between all of them. We can use similar sensors for lots of these, but we can't always use them at the same sort of weighting, if you get what I mean. So that's sort of what's sort of going on in my head, thinking, well, how can we better tune what we're doing, what my group does or other groups do, to be able to really unblock some of these time delays that companies have.
What sort of things is CSIRO working on at the moment in that space?
So we are very early days. We are looking at a new downhole geophysical sensor in the quantum realm. So the idea around that is that it will return geophysical data with no noise or very little noise, and it'll increase the volume, that 3D volume of geophysics that you can really use. So it goes from 1D to 3D, basically, that data volume. So we'll have a better understanding of the geology through cover in that way, but that by itself won't fix things. It's actually when you start to put that sort of thing together with other data streams, so airborne geophysics or ground geophysics and that kind of thing. So that's very, very early, like way into the H3, so sort of probably 10 years away. And then in the area where we are sort of making those inroads into up the sort of technology readiness level, we've gone from, we're sort of, I call it our field SEM. So we're using LIBS data in field and translating that. So that's laser-induced breakdown spectroscopy data in field, where you can scan a rough cut section of rock, or maybe not even cut core, quite quickly and return mineralogy quite quickly. So just again, improved decision support for people logging. So in theory you want to take people away from those rocks, and to not actually have to log with your eyes, but to be able to use the data that they're collecting on a laptop or something. And the reason why that's really important, I think, is if we really want to diversify our workforce, we need to make the data accessible. So they don't actually have to be in a core shed. Right? So if we're able to make enough data accessible that really good, solid decisions are made from that data, from someone's lounge room or wherever, then that
more flexibility.
Yeah, can you imagine who could work in, so people that are constrained in terms of their mobility. People that want to work part time because they have to because of other commitments and that kind of thing. You can really
start opening up a lot of options, bring some more people in.
Yeah.
I do find you very inspiring. I've always looked up to you a lot, and I'm curious what advice you would have for people starting out. Your younger self, what would you say?
My younger self.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's I find that really funny. But thank you for that. But
I mean it though.
Yeah. Well, my younger self. So it was quite tricky when I was younger, but I never really noticed so much that I was quite different in the workplace that I started out in compared to the people I was working with. Much younger and a different gender, essentially, mostly. So the advice I would give is just follow your passion. Like, I just love geology. I absolutely love it. It just blows my mind. You can learn something new every day. It's really exciting, and you should just follow it. So even if you come across funny little things along the way that you think, that's really irritating, just don't let it really consume you. Just think about what's important and just get on with it.
Oh, that's good advice. I like that. Stay on path. Stay focused.
Just stay true to who you are, I think, and what you love.
Follow your heart. I love that. No, that is really good advice. So speaking of geology then, I have this mysterious object, and I'm very curious. I have no context to give you.
No.
What do you think about when you look at this?
So when I look at that, I can see that, well, in my mind it's mineralised, but I just look at it and think, well, what value does it hold, and how can we unlock that value? So, and the other thing I think about is, can we think about different ways of unlocking that value? So away from the traditional, say, processing routes. What
sort of things come to mind for you?
In terms of unlocking the value? So for me, in terms of unlocking that value, I think initially about, where are the metals held within this exactly, right? So the geomet, those geomet questions. The texture, if you look at that, the texture throughout here is quite variable, actually. So how can we have that, how can we use that to our advantage? Because it's not all homogeneous, it might be quite easy to break apart. And then, once we get to that point, then what do we do with it, essentially? But it is completely variable, this thing.
Very variable.
But yeah, I don't quite know what to think about it, Jess. And not having any context is really hard.
It
right?
is. It's
so
interesting.
It makes it really difficult.
I'm enjoying all the variety of answers that I'm getting so far. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Seeing by the end of the day all the different things that people come up with when they look at it. Yeah.
Absolutely, because it's quite not having the context is really difficult. I mean, recently I had to help out with a safety thing in another group at work, and the first thing you ask about, because it's around rocks, is where did the rock come from?
Yeah.
How old is it? And you just start to go through these things, and then you can go, okay, well, I think the risk is medium, high, low, based on these things. So, but not having context is, I would just advise everyone not to lick it. That's all, because you don't really know. Yeah.
I love it. You are so awesome. So thank you for chatting to me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of it.
I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.